Kosha, an encyclopedia of Vedic knowledge by Pact. Vedas. Rig Veda.
ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपवस्त्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः
Kosha Upanishads, Rigveda based Upanishad, the Kaushtika Upanishads.
ओम वांग में मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो में वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् अविरावीर्म एधि वेदस्य म आणीस्थः ऋतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Kosha Upanishad Kaushtika Upanishad, chapter 2. Chapter 4 is in the Upanishad. Chapter 2. Prana, the vital breath, is Brahma. Thus indeed Kaushtika used to say, of this same vital breath which is Brahma, verily mind is the messenger, the eye the protector, the ear the announcer, speech the encloser. He who verily knows mind as the messenger of this vital breath, that is Brahma, becomes the messenger. He who knows I as the protector becomes possessed of a protector. He who knows the ear as the announcer becomes possessed of an announcer. He who knows speech as the enclosure becomes possessed of an enclosure. To this vital breath as Brahma all these gods like mind, age, ear, speech bring offerings unbegged. Likewise, indeed to this vital breath all beings bring offerings unbegged. The secret doctrine of him who knows this, one should not beg. It is as if having begged of a village and not having received anything. One should sit down saying, I shall not eat anything that is given from here. Those very ones who previously refused now invite him. This is the law for one who begs not. But those who invite him are the givers of food, saying, let us give it to you. The vital breath is Brahma. Thus indeed Patanjali used to say, of this vital breath on Brahma, behind the speech the eye is enclosed, behind the eye the ear is enclosed, behind the ear the mind is enclosed, behind the mind the vital breath is enclosed. To this same vital breath as Brahma, all these gods bring offering unbegged. Even so, to this same vital breath, all beings living bring offering unbegged only. Of him who knows this, the secret doctrine is, one should not beg. It is as if having begged and not having received. One should sit down saying, I shall not eat that is given from here. Those very ones who previously refused now invite him. This is the law of one who begs not, but those who invite him are the givers of food, saying, let us give to you. Now, next, the procuring of the highest treasure. If one should covet the highest treasure, either on the night of a full moon or on the night of a new moon, or during the bright half of the moon under an auspicious constellation, at one of these periods, having built up a fire, having swept around, having shorn the sacred grass, having sprinkled around, having bent the right knee, with a spoon or with a wooden bowl or with a metal cup, he offers oblations of melted butter. With the words, the divinity named speech is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. The divinity named vital breath is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. The divinity named eye is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. The divinity named ear is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. The divinity named mind is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. The divinity named intelligence is a procurer. May it procure this thing for me from so and so to it hail. Then, having inhaled the smell of the smoke, having rubbed his limbs over with the ointment of melted butter, silently he should go forth, declare his object, or send a messenger. He obtains here indeed. Now next, the longing to be realized with the divine powers. If one should desire to become beloved of a man or a woman, or of men or of women, at one of these same points of time, having built up a fire, he offers it exactly the same manner, oblations of the melted butter, saying, your speech I sacrifice in me, you so and so hail. Your vital breath I sacrifice in me, so you so and so hail. Your eye I sacrifice in me, you so and so hail. Your ear I sacrifice in me, you so and so hail. Your mind I sacrifice in me, so you so and so hail. Your intelligence I sacrifice in me, you so and so hail. Then, having inhaled the smell of the smoke, having rubbed his lips over with a smearing of the melted butter, silently he should go forth and desire to approach and touch, or he may simply stand and converse from windward. He becomes beloved indeed, the longing for him indeed. Now next, self-restraint according to Pratha Dhana, or the inner Agnihotra as they call it. Verily, as long as a person is speaking, he is not able to breathe. Then he is sacrificing vital breath in speech. As long, verily, as a person is breathing, he is not able to speak. Then he is sacrificing speech in breath. These two are unending immortal oblations. Waking or sleeping, one is continuously, uninterruptedly making them. Now, whatever other oblations there are, they have an end, for they consist of work. Knowing this very thing, verily, the ancients did not offer the Agnihotra sacrifice. Now, what is Brahman? The Ukta recitation is Brahman, sacred word. Thus, indeed, was Sushvabhangara want to say. One should meditate on it as the rig, the hymn of praise. Unto him indeed all beings sing praise for his greatness. One should meditate on it as the Yajus, the sacrificial formula. Unto him indeed all are being united for his greatness. One should meditate on it as the summon chant. Unto him indeed all beings bow down for his greatness. One should meditate on it as Shri, beauty. One should meditate on it as Yashash, glory. One should meditate on it as Tejas, splendor. As this Ukta is the most beautiful, the most glorious, the most splendid among the invocations of praise, Shastras, even so is he who knows this the most beautiful, the most glorious, the most splendid among all beings. So the Atharva priest prepares this self which is related to the sacrifice and which consists of work. In it he weaves what consists of the Yajus. In what consists of the Yajus, the Hotir priest weaves what consists of the Rig. In what consists of the Rig, the Udgayatar priest weaves what consists of the Saman. This is the self of all the threefold knowledge, and thus he who knows this becomes the self of Indra. The all-conquering Kaushtika indeed was wont to worship the rising sun. Having performed the investiture with the sacred thread, having fetched water, having thrice sprinkled the water, vessel say, "You are a deliverer. Take my sin away." In the same way he was wont to worship the sun when it was in the mind heaven, saying, "You are the high deliverer. Take my sin away." In the same way he was wont to worship the sun when it was setting, saying, "You are the full deliverer. Take my sin fully away." Whatever sin he committed, by day or by night, that it takes away. Likewise also, he who knows this worships the sun in the same manner. Whatever sin one commits, by day or by night, it takes away fully. Now month by month at the time of the new moon, when it comes round, one should in the same way worship the moon as it appears in the west, or throw two blades of grass towards it, saying, "That heart of mind of fair outlines, which in the sky in moon doth rest, I think I am knower of that. May I not weep for children's ill? Indeed his children do not predecease him. Thus is it with one to whom a son has been born. Now in the case of one to whom a son has not been born, increase may vigor enter thee. May milk and food gather in thee. May that which the Adityas gladden, having muttered these 3 verses, he says, do not increase by our vital breath, by our offspring, by our cattle. He who hates us and him whom we hate, increase by his breath, by his offspring, by his cattle. I turn myself with Indra's turn. I turn myself along with the turn of the sun. Thus he turns himself towards the right arm. Thus on the night of the full moon, one should worship in the same way the moon as it appears in the east, saying, "You are the far shining King Soma, the five-mouthed, the Lord of creation. The Brahman is one mouth of you. With that mouth you eat the kings. With that mouth make me an eater of food. The king is one mouth of you. With that mouth you eat the people. With that mouth make me an eater of food. The hawk is one mouth of you. With that mouth you eat birds. With that mouth make me an eater of food. Fire is one mouth of you. With that mouth you eat this world. With that mouth make me an eater of food. In you is a fifth mouth. With that mouth you eat all beings. With that mouth make me an eater of food. Waste not away with our vital breath, our offspring, our cattle. He who hates us and him whom we hate, waste away with his vital breath, his offspring, his cattle. Thus I turn myself with the turn of the gods. I turn myself with the turn of the sun. Afterwards he turns himself towards the right arm. Now when about to lie down with a wife, one should touch her heart and say, "That which in thy heart, O fair one, is placed within Prajapati. Therewith, O Queen of immortality, may you not come on children's ill, her children do not then predecease her. Now when one has been away on returning, he should kiss his son's head. Now when one has been away on returning, he should kiss his son's head and say, from every limb of mine are you born, from my heart are you born. O son, you are indeed myself. May you live 100 autumns long. So and so, he takes his name. Become a stone, become an axe, become unconquerable gold, a brilliant sun indeed you are. So live 100 autumns long. So and so, he takes his name. Then he embraces him, saying, wherewith Prajapati embraced his creators for their welfare, therewith I embrace you, so and so. Then he mutters in his right ear, confer on him, O Meghavan, O Anrusha, and in his left ear, O Indra, grant most excellent positions. Do not cut off the line of our race. Be not afraid, live 100 autumns of life. Son, I kiss your head with your name. Thrice he should kiss this his head. I make a lowing over you with a lowing of cows. Thrice he should make a lowing over his head. Now next the dying around of the gods, this Brahman verily shines when the fire blazes. Likewise it dies when it blazes not. Its brilliance goes to the sun, its vital breath to the wind. This Brahman verily shines when the sun is seen. Likewise it dies when it is not seen. Its brilliance goes to the moon, its vital breath to the wind. This Brahman verily shines forth when the lightning flashes. Likewise it dies when it flashes not. Its brilliance goes to the regions of space, its vital breath to the wind. All these divinities, verily having entered into the wind, perish not when they die in the wind. Therefrom, indeed, they come forth again. Thus with reference to the divinities. Now with reference to the self, this Brahman verily shines forth when one speaks with speech. Likewise, this dies when one speaks not. Its brilliance goes to the eye, its vital breath to the vital breath. This Brahman verily shines when one sees with the eye. Likewise, this dies when one sees not. Its brilliance goes to the ear, its vital breath to the vital breath. This Brahman verily shines when one hears with the ear. Likewise, this dies when one hears not. Its brilliance goes to the mind, its vital breath to the vital breath. This Brahman verily shines when one thinks with the mind. Likewise, it dies when one thinks not. Its brilliance goes to the vital breath, its vital breath to the vital breath. All these divinities verily have entered into the vital breath, perish not even they did in the vital breath. Therefrom, indeed, they come forth again. So verily, indeed, if upon one who knows this, both the mountains, the southern and the northern, should roll themselves forth, seeking to crush him, they would not crush him, but those who hate him and those whom he himself hates, all these die around him. Now next, the assumption of superior excellence. All these divinities verily disputing among themselves in regard to self-superiority went forth from this body. Not breathing, it lay dry like a piece of wood. Then speech entered into it. It must lay speaking with speech. Then the eye entered into it. It just lay speaking with speech, seeing with the eye. Then the ear entered into it. It just lay speaking with speech, seeing with the eye, hearing with the ear. Then the mind entered into it. It just lay speaking with speech, seeing with the eye, hearing with the ear, thinking with the mind. Then the vital breath entered into it, and then indeed it at once arose. All these divinities, having verily recognized to superior excellence of the vital breath, having comprehended the vital breath alone as the self of intelligence, went forth from this body altogether. They, having entered into the wind, having the nature of space, went to the heavenly world. Likewise also, indeed, he who knows this, having recognized the superior excellence of the vital breath, having comprehended the vital breath alone as the self of the intelligence, goes out of the body with all these. Having entered into the wind, having the nature of space, he goes to heaven. He goes there where these gods are. Having reached that, he who knows this becomes immortal as the gods are immortal. Now the next, the father and son ceremony, or the transmission as they call it. A father about to depart calls his son. Having strewn the house with new grass, having built up the fire, having placed near it a vessel of water with a jug, himself covered with a fresh garment, the father remains lying. Having come, the son lies down on top, touching organs with organs, or the father may transmit to him seated face to face. Then he delivers over to him thus: Father, my speech in you I would place. Son, I take your speech in me. Father, my breath in you I would place. Son, I take your breath in me. Father, my eye in you I would place. Son, I take your eye in me. Father, my ear in you I would place. Son, I take your ear in me. Father, my taste food in you I would place. Son, I take your taste of food in me. Father, my deeds in you I would place. Son, I take your deeds in me. Father, my pleasure and pain in you I would place. Son, I take your pleasure and pain in me. Father, my bliss, delight, procreation in you I would place. Son, I take your bliss, delight, and procreation in me. Father, my moment in you I would place. Son, I take your moment in me. Father, my mind in you I would place. Son, I take your mind in me. Father, my intelligence in you I would place. Son, I take your intelligence in me. If, however, he should be unable to speak much, let the father say summarily, My vital breaths in you I would place. And the son replied, Your vital breaths I take in me. Then turning to the right, he goes towards the east. The father calls out after him, My glory, sacred luster, and fame delight in you. Then the other looks over his left shoulder, having hid his face with his hand, or having covered it with the edge of his garment, he says, May you obtain heavenly worlds and all desires. If the father should become well, he should dwell under the lordship of his son, or he should wander as a mendicant. If, however, he should die, let them perform obsequies as they should be performed.